You dug for dust and heat, watch the rig lights blur. Coins came slow through stone, and the bills came first to hurt. But I found a different road, where the Lord can pay its way. Stack the cards, set them free, let the uptime earn the day. GPU autopilot on, turn the idle into gold. Every slot stays moving, every cycle stays sold. And I hear the numbers climb when the airflow starts to sing. What was sunk in mining pain comes back like everything. Rent the cars, let them run, profit climbs one by one. GPU rental here to stay, mining's long and fading away. Rent the cars, let them run, make it move, make it hum. GPU rental line by line, better margins every time. Red Panda Mining said, watch the old game bend. When the market turns the wheel, you need a smarter end. No more praying to the pool, no more waiting on a block. Let the clients book the hours, let the ledger tick and talk. And the trolls in the vast Discord talk their noise all night, but the receipts keep talking, and the math looks right. You can laugh at every doubt, let them shout into the dark. I'd rather roam the steady stream than chase one lucky spark. Rent the cars, let them run, profit climbs one by one. GPU rental here to stay, mining's long and fading away. Rent the cars, let them run, make it move, make it hum. GPU rental line by line, better margins every time. When the hashes fall to silence, I don't miss the race. I see tenants fill the calendar, I see green in every space. From the rack to the return, that's the song I choose. Not a gamble on a miracle, just a business that can you grow. Rent the cars, let them run, profit climbs one by one. GPU rental here to stay, mining's long and fading away. Rent the cars, let them run, make it move, make it hum. GPU rental line by line, better margins every time. Cars, let them run, profit climbs one by one. GPU rental here to stay, mining's long and fading away.
Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome. Oh, I better turn that light up a little bit. I'm out of focus. There we go. How you guys all doing tonight? I am doing good. It's been a busy day. Might as well have been a work day for me with how much work I did today. But hey, I'm out. I'm now not having to work, which is nice. So hope you guys are all having a great Saturday. Let's see who is here. We have, oops, I need to fix something. Give me 1 second. My stream window went over the chat. We have Squirrel Masters here. Yes, going all in with those chips. Yes, I am. Well, not all in, but yeah, spending a considerable amount of money. Anyway, spank that like button. Yes, please do. And good evening to you as well. Black Hat Team, good evening to you. The hobbyist is here. He will be joining me here in just a moment. Chuck Danger is here. First time 13. Let's see who else says IEEE. I like that. I was president. I probably said this last time you were here. I was IEEE president in college. Anyway, and Squirrel Master's late is late. Okay, but hey, I shortened the intro a little bit, so I was really only 1 minute late. I went live after the intro at 8:06, which is earlier than I do most times. So there you have it. Shots fired early at Panda. Yes, we have a fun rivalry. Although he wins that rivalry, he's got me outnumbered. Jay Styles, welcome. Let's see who else. Scotter 007. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And that's everybody that has chimed in on chat. Don't be shy. Chime in on chat if you got something to say. Even if you don't have something to say, just say hi. Always good to hear from everybody that's in chat. And yeah, so yeah, I will bring in hobbyists. Give me 1 second while I make the adjustment. Oh yeah, there he is. And hold on, I gotta make an adjustment to that. Okay, I think. Let's see if we can hear you, hobbyist.
Now, did you do it?
No, cannot actually. Hold on a second.
Oh man.
Yeah, I don't know why. The last time it happened, my guest was muted coming in. And I did not touch it. Did you hear now? Hey, how's it going?
I was curious if you could do it on your first try. I now find you can't.
Wait. Hold on a second. Can do it on my first try. What are you saying? Because you were muted? As if that was my fault? You have the ability to unmute yourself, sir.
Oh, I'm not familiar with this weird software. Okay, I feel like you remind me of, and this is real funny. You remind me of my grandfather who has all these sticky notes all around his monitor on like how to do things. Like, do you have sticky notes?
No, I don't. But at work I have sticky notes everywhere. Yes, at work I do.
Yes. All right. I like it. But good evening. Happy Saturday.
Yes, welcome. Happy Saturday to you as well. How was your day?
It was good. It was one of those days where I spent way too many hours trying to do something that should have taken an hour, and it still didn't get finished. It was for a video, and so I have to go back to my shed tomorrow to see if it's finished and if I get different results. And so it was one of those days where I feel very unproductive because I didn't get done what I needed to. But here we are. Yeah. It's a pain in the butt, but here we are. Absolutely.
I hear you. I had a lot of plans on things to do today, and was just hoping that I wasn't going to have to go into work. I didn't have to go into work, but there was still a lot going on at work where I was on the phone with them a lot. And the good thing is everything turned out good. Everything we were trying to accomplish, we accomplished. It was a sprint at the end of the week to get something accomplished that was not planned. And the cool thing about it is that I did it while my boss was away. So,
okay.
So that was nice, like being able to just work and him not feeling like he needed to jump in because he wasn't there. And he's so I've had multiple kinds of managers. I've had managers just let me operate. And when it gets tough, I will tell you, I got frustrated. Like, can't you just help out a little bit? And I talked to him later on about that. He's like, why did I need to? You had it, and I gave you all the credit for when it got tough. And I'm like, yeah, you did. So I was like, okay, I get it. And then I've had managers that are, so involved in everything where it can be, frustrating is the wrong word. It can be demotivating, I guess. Demotivating, because you're like, I know this, just let me do it, type of thing. So I didn't have to even, convince anybody that, hey, I got this, just let me do my thing. One thing you can say about people who have ADHD is, in a crisis, that's who you want. They're very calm in a crisis, and this was, I wouldn't exactly call it a crisis as in, but it was something where, yes, everybody was kind of, oh my God, are we gonna be able to get this done? I'm like, one step at a time. This is first, this is second, this is next, this is next, this is next. And even the customer I was doing this for is like, are we gonna get this done? I said, one step at a time. That is the goal.
Sure.
I said, I'm not gonna promise you the world. I'm simply going to break the problem down one step at a time and get through it. And the goal is, at the end, to obviously have success. And so anyway, he appreciated that approach once I walked him through it. And and he was definitely happy at the end of the day.
Doesn't have to be a manager workplace show here, but I will say that so my last job, I was there for 10 years, and before that I was at the other job for 5 years. And that job, I had one of those managers that was like super micromanaged, like even remotely, just like you could tell it was a trust thing, a control thing, and that like drove me nuts. But then in my last position, I was an executive at a company, so I reported to the CFO. And so he had, IT was a line item to him. So like it wasn't even like, there was no daily like connections. It was like once every few weeks checking in on where we are with the budget, and like, oh, do we need to go outside the budget, and where this and that. So it was much different. But I also reported to it was the company had a C level, and then still had presidents as well. I think it was just really that they just never ended up changing things. But the biggest thing I remember talking about bosses, and kind of what was very enlightening, was when we had a ransomware attack. And like, I'm the highest IT individual in the company, entire company. It was about $150 million company, and I remember getting a call at 6 a.m. when things kicked off for the ransomware attack. And when I was in the office, getting into the office like right away, like he was my first call. Got to the office, anyways. Long story short, the president of the company approached me, and this was really what was helpful. And he was just like, didn't ask me where we're at, didn't ask me how things are going. It was just, what do you need? That was his first thing. It wasn't like we're losing money. And it was like, I need you to play interference for everybody and their brother who's knocking at our department's door. I can't answer questions on anybody for anything. And he's like, no problem. Let me know what you need. I'll take care of it. And it was like great, because like then every manager went to him and did not come to me for anything. Absolutely anything. Like, and it was great, because like I did not have the time, the bandwidth to be sitting around. I was managing people. I mean, we got involved with the FBI, we had the CIA, we had a negotiator. Like, it was all our insurance like helped to tie that all together. But that was really nice. So the flip side of like that entire card that like every individual hopes for in those situations was like, it was like the perfect scenario, which is really nice.
That's cool. Yeah, I could go into. We had one of the companies. I mean, I don't know if you remember the Blue Yonder attack, where it like affected all of these warehouse management systems across the entire company, major corporations. We had.
What was that? Like, what year was that? Do you remember?
It wasn't last year. It was the year before, so it had to be 2024. And I believe it was right towards the end of the year, but it messed up a lot of food deliveries and just general deliveries. It was bad. I'm trying to remember if it's Coke or Pepsi that had them, but it was one of the major beverage companies that had them, as well as just a number. I mean, Blue Yonder's big, and you don't hear about it.
Oh yeah, I'm looking here. Starbucks, UK, supermarkets, Morrison's. Interesting.
Well, most of them were using Blue Yonder for their like payroll system. So they couldn't pay their employees.
It wasn't like an exploit or something like that, and
they found whoever this was found a backdoor into the Blue Yonder system and took all these were remote. Blue Yonder was managing the system for all of these companies.
Wow.
And so immediately when we found it out, we took it down, and the IT department had to revert back to the previous WMS and all these locations. Yeah.
Yeah.
And temporarily, I know some of the locations went back, but yeah, I'm sure I don't even know how good that company's doing now because it had to have injured them
Oh,
tremendously.
sure. Sure.
And
What
lose a
was
lot of
that
trust, but
one? I know we're going off. There was one that went down. What was it? I remember because it was after I was traveling.
I
All
know
the
what you're
airline.
talking about.
What is that
Uh,
one? All the airlines dealt with it. It was like a blue screen everywhere. It
oh
was
yeah, yeah. I
was it
don't
a
remember what it's
Windows
called.
update? I don't even know if it was a ransomware attack. No,
Yeah,
it
I
was a
think that yeah,
Windows update
yeah,
that like just like crippled everything everywhere. It was
yeah,
ridiculous. I
yeah,
remember that. Oh man, that's crazy. All right,
yeah. All
back
right.
to the world.
Back to the
CrowdStrike. Thank you.
normal. Yeah.
Yes,
Anyway, so
CrowdStrike. Yes.
anything notable this week in your on your
Oh
farm?
man. Two things. We'll touch on the first one. I mean, first off, crypto's pumping right now, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
Like, it's nice to have a little reprieve there.
Yeah.
Especially I got my Dogecoin cup out. It's like, heck yeah,
Nice.
I need Dogecoin to go up. Most of my fleet is script miners right now. I did buy another S21 XP last night, used. So I haven't bought an ASIC in a while, so that was kind of really nice to be able to take advantage of that. It was still had lower pricing, so that was good. But outside of that, I mean, I think the biggest thing for me to chat about is my 5090 rig.
Hmm.
So last I was on here, I had swapped card 2 and 3 because I just couldn't chase down this CDI error that was just
Right.
keeping on happening. I was replacing hardware. Long story short, I swapped the two of them around, and I was like, "Hey, we'll see what happens." I did it right before the live stream. It lasted for a few days, and then it came back, and I thought I thought I was chasing the right thing, and I wasn't. And so I ended up actually working with, and I have the chat up with Milton. He was the guy who helped us out a lot with the Tippy nodes and stuff like that.
Okay.
He's one of the moderators in my channel, and I've since created an AI GPU rentals conversation in my chat, which was super helpful. But what I ran into was he helped me to really identify. I really ended up just like starting over from zero and troubleshooting and really getting down to like figuring out the slots properly, my PCI slots, to nail down where this was. I thought it was in one spot, it wasn't. I was misidentifying it. I was swapping out risers. I was doing power supply stuff. I think I was entirely in the wrong spot.
Okay.
And so working with him in my Discord, Enable2 was in there chatting. And what we did was we ended up identifying like there was this NVIDIA SMI query that queried like GPU, PCIe, link. I'm just reading off screen here, Gen, current PCI,
Hmm.
with all that types of stuff, and gives you a nice little like write out there. And pretty much what we ended up finding was and I'll just read this here. It says the real issue is GPU 1 is reporting serial 0. That's what's breaking CDI. Nvidia CTK builds the CDI spec off a device identity, and Vast keys their machine GPU registration off of serial. So a 0 or a duplicate serial makes the entry unresolvable. That's exactly the soft verification state in that email. So what was occurring was actually digging into it. It could have been two issues. It was either the VBIOS or was an issue starting to actually happen with the actual bus on it. Like it was starting to get messed up. So
Hmm.
long story short, when did
Too
all
late.
this start to occur? When did this all start to happen for me? Well, it was after I bought my Zotac 5090. That's when I added the other power supply, that workstation one.
Right.
I
Mhm.
started doing it. Well, long story short, guess which card it was that had this problem? The Zotac 5090. And so my last step was swapping the slots with this 5090, and every slot I swapped, just the GPU, it would follow. It would follow along with it. That's how I isolated it down. So I did an RMA. And I did, so I bought it off Amazon in May. I The Amazon time period to return had run out.
Sure.
Zotac, thankfully, even though Zotac has a bad rap from like the GPU mining days with just poor quality, I
Hmm.
ended up registering the GPU like the same night I figured this out on their site. Of course, my product number wasn't listed on their site. I don't know if it was an Amazon only product number or if it was just too new, but it wasn't in their drop down menu. It had the whole product number, but at the very end, the letter was different, like a
Mhm.
P versus an A or whatever. So I put it in, open a ticket, let them know. They had me like take pictures. They were like, "This is really odd. We haven't seen this before." So they had me take picture. That is not what you want to hear, right? Like I don't want to hear that.
No, you don't, but at least they're open. They're not like, "Oh, that can't happen." That's what you
Yeah.
really don't wanna hear.
Yeah, so I took pictures of the card, of the sticker, sent it to them. They updated it. I gave it about a day, and then I put in for the warranty repair. And they were quick to be like, "Great, here it is." They sent me the information. I shipped it out, and the downside is now I have to wait 30 days.
Yeah.
Like it could take up to 30 days. But here is the biggest problem because I am making, I want to say close to nothing off of Vast right now. So the card's out of the rig. What is your first thought? What do you have to do now that you know that you're going to be down a GPU for like probably 60 days? Let's be honest.
You have to do one of two things: either completely reload it and get re-verified, or there is another trick that does work where you can take it down one GPU. And I forget what that command is, but
Mhm.
I could find it. But I'm assuming you've already done
So
whatever you're gonna do.
I reached out to Vast and was like,
Oh, okay.
and I was like, hey, here's what occurred because they've been working with me for a while
Mhm.
with these CDI errors. And I said, here's what happened. Here's what I identified. They're like, great, sounds good. I'm like, how do I lower this down to 35090s versus 4? Like, how do I make this adjustment? And they were like, oh, run this command and it will
Okay.
update the amount of GPUs. I'm like,
Mhm.
beautiful. I run it and it's like, cannot update GPUs due to there being a renter. So I go back to VAS. I'm like, hey guys, what do I do here? And they're like, let us contact the client and get back to you. Well, day goes by, 2 days, 3 days, a week. I'm like, where are we at with this? Oh, we can't get a hold of the client. So what do I do? They're like, nothing. You have to wait. I'm like, well, what is the time period up? They're like, September 11th is the rental. And I'm like, okay. And they're renting like storage, and that's it. Like, that's
Oh,
all it
jeez.
is. And I'm like, guys, what? Can you update something on the back end then? Oh no, we can't do that. We have no access to anything to do that. And I'm like, so what do I do here? Like, what do I do, next here? And they're like, you have to wait. And I'm like, so now I wait and I'm de-verified, like that short-term de-verified. And the rentals are horrible. Like last week, I think I made $50 the entire week with 35090s. And
Wow.
it's like, what am I doing here? Like what's happening here? So I've been patient and just let it ride, but I'm getting these vast emails multiple times a day, if not at least once an hour about these like CDI errors and all this types of stuff. So I'm like, I don't know. What would you do here? Would you just scrap it and rebuild it? Or would you like order another 5090 to take its place? Like, what would you do here?
Well, you've done it before. Again, they're renting storage, so it's
Yep.
stored.
Yep.
You could take it down for like a day and
Yep.
then
I
put it
know.
back up and then put it back up for a day
But they're going to
because
charge me. They're going to charge me just like they did last time.
they might. But yeah, you could try that and basically you know what the other part is? You could also make sure you put in for a long maintenance period.
Mhm. Have you seen recently they actually, I forget where I saw it in Vast, it came up with a warning that like I could be charged. I forget where I saw that more recently. It popped up as like a pop-up.
I've
I
only
don't know if
seen
it
it
was.
once, but that was like a general, like not like specific to a rig or specific to anything I did. It
Mhm.
was just kind of a
Yeah.
like almost like a new terms of service type of thing, but it wasn't terms of
Yeah.
service.
Yeah, I might just at this point okay, at this point I guess it's been 3 weeks, 2 weeks. When was the last time I was on here? Not last week. Fruit was on here then. A week before, maybe? I don't remember. But that's how long it's been.
Well, hey,
So
it's
I
it's
guess
only another 3 weeks till September 11th.
yeah.
So this
You
is
know what?
honestly,
It
so
is. It is.
this is the honest part of it is okay, you reload it. Are you sure you're going to get re-verified in 3 weeks?
Yeah, I mean, I maybe not. I mean, unfortunately, I guess I throw it over to you and kind of what you would do, and also what you're seeing from the demand perspective. Because, like, as I was saying, like mine's been terrible regarding, like, I think if I'm loading it up now, the entire situation I think is really like crushing from that rental side, because if it's not showing up on the marketplace, it's not showing up on the GUI marketplace, but I think it
Right.
still shows up on like the back end side. What is that called? Like CDL or something like that. Where
Uh,
people can, what is
yeah,
that
command
called?
line,
Where yeah,
CLI.
the command line side.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like failed to inject CDI device. We talked about that. Your machine is no longer visible in search due to the error. Resolve the issue to make it searchable again. But when I go over to like my earnings though, yesterday I didn't even make $15, and I made $9.40 on GPUs, $1.73 on storage, and $1.30 on bandwidth.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of difficult to say
Mhm.
exactly the best thing to do. All I can say
Yeah.
is what I would do, which is
Yeah.
I would put it on maintenance mode for like 24 hours, hopefully sending a message to the guy that oh wait a minute, this is off. Oh, I better get my data off. Because he's only storing.
Yeah.
So he should get a message
Yeah.
like it's gone down and then
Well, it's
put
still
it.
getting rentals here and there from other people.
Oh, it is
Like
okay.
it's still it's getting them, but like right now, the listing expiration date I've had set to like the 25th for a while. So like there's 3 days left, and then
Right.
like it won't be available at all. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
maybe I set it now, and then I just set it for like 3 days of like maintenance, and then just see what happens on the 25th maybe.
Honestly, what I would do if you're gonna leave it on for a little bit, what I would
Yeah.
do is I would set the rental to, like, 24 hours and then just set it a rolling 24 hours. Like, where it
Yeah.
automatically continues to stay that way when the guy finally falls off, you can then say, "Okay, let me unclick that expiration date,"
Yeah.
and go from there. So, that's a thought as
Yeah.
well. But, yeah, it's
Mm.
definitely a difficult spot to be in. That's
Yeah,
for
it's just a
sure.
bummer. It's just a bummer in that regard. So we'll see what happens. Yeah, I've been tempted to expand that rig when things are running great, but now I'm like, I don't want to do anything with it. For sure. But that's kind of my latest and greatest with my 5090 rig, unfortunately.
Did you see what Mike World said? By the way,
My
welcome,
brother
Mike
had
World. He said, my
Mike.
brother had a power surge at his house and he lost several $1,000s in power supplies. Vast charged him a fee for lost storage. Now he
Yep.
is selling 2439. These on eBay. Client lost forever.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
It's a double-edged sword for sure. I mean, I remember when I
Hmm.
first brought this up to you the first time we saw it, right? When I got like an email on that, that
Hmm.
was when I took down. Now, I did it incorrectly. Like I totally get it, and that's why I'm okay with it. Where I took down 83090 individual rigs all at once and just parted and sold them off.
Right.
Vast came at me like, "Hey, where are we at with these?" I gave them some runaround. Hi, Vast. Thanks for listening. Gave them a runaround on kind of what power outage, whatever. Finally, they were like, "Hey, it was like $11. I'm not going to throw a fit over $11 when it was on me. When I sold all of those and made several $1,000s, but still, I totally get it.
By the way, sorry, I had to go back to Retro Mike's comment. How am I supposed to remember all my passwords and seed phrases without sticky notes? Exactly. That was funny.
Clutch,
Um, yeah.
clutch.
Swamp 7, other platforms pay more than Vast and are easier to deal with. That's probably not wrong, but you have to meet stricter requirements, unfortunately.
Bob Seven, are you approaching this from a home enthusiast and operator's perspective, or from an enterprise level?
Yeah, good call out. Very good call out.
That's like when I hear Panda, and he's like, "Well, it isn't doing great, but it's doing great over here on this platform, but it's not available to the public." And it's like, "Well, dude,
Yeah.
come on now." Like,
Yep. I hear you there as well. I'd love to be on Simple Pod. That would be good. That would be very good. Their fees are less.
mm,
You make more. But they're not there yet, and I get it. They want to make sure that they meet a certain clientele, pay their hosts a little bit more. They don't want to flood their platform with a bunch of supply and then nobody does well. So I kind of get it. But no, I had another $1,400 week last week. It slowed down yesterday. Been averaging around $200 a day, but yesterday was like 175. So no, it's been doing good. Pearl mining hasn't been bad either, actually.
You're still doing that, like in between rentals?
Mhm.
Like, okay,
Yep.
got you.
So
Okay.
yesterday, with that being off, actually, I still made $200 yesterday because my Pearl mining made like $27. I managed to sell Pearl when
Awesome.
it had a spike yesterday. And so I was able to sell Pearl at 32 cents instead of the normal like 27 cents, 26, 27 cents it's been at. So yeah, it was a good week last week. But yeah, I actually had an issue last week as well. I have one rig, and it's the newest rig. It's a piece of crap rig. It's like I said, this is what I've talked about. It's an i7.
Oh yeah,
710, that one.
Mhm.
And yeah, it had another port networking issue. And I'm like, there's nothing wrong with my port networking. And they, of course, whenever I go to Vast, they're like, yeah, it looks fine to me. So the last time, let me see if they can still pull up. I got to probably pull it up on my phone because that was the last time I talked to them. Let me see if it updated on here. Yeah, Kevin, who was helping me, it says, if the error keeps coming back, there may be some underlying issues. I went ahead and cleared it. If it comes back again, you may need to further investigate the ports on your machine. I'm like, the ports on my rig, they're either open or they're not. I'm not making any changes. Then the router fine for every single other rig. So
wasn't it you a few weeks back, and I think Panda, that were running into this? We're getting flooded with like a bunch of these issues.
Yeah.
And it was network, and it ended up being like on Vast side or something like that. Stupid.
Yes. So I mean that's what they led me to believe. Now I will say the major difference of this one versus all the other ones is I use the new script on it, and it's not the new script. I'm guessing it might have something to do maybe with Ubuntu 24.04. That's what I'm not sure about. But again, I haven't investigated that yet. Swamp 7 wants to blame Unify. Then why is it always this one specific? And I know he started using my new script, so I'm wondering if it's an Ubuntu. Because that seems to be the common thread is Ubuntu.
What was the one I used? Was it 24 or 20?
Yeah, it was.
Okay.
And it doesn't happen on all of them. So that's why I'm kind of confused by it. So anyway, so I gotta do some research on that. I actually just thought of that now. Because I was like, I don't know why it keeps happening. And then I'm like, oh, maybe. Because I think it started happening right around the time. I guess I have to ask Panda, like when he started having the issue, did that correspond to when I switched to 24.04?
I wonder, because you two both, I remember having issues around the same time talking about that.
Right.
I didn't realize, and he's using that script. Interesting.
Yeah, I'll take a look. So if anybody else is using my script and has found that problem, please let me know. Please let me know. I don't have any reason why that would happen though. That's what's confusing to me. Yeah, weird to be the right way to put it. Retro Mike wouldn't have that problem with Aruba.
Oh man, Aruba, I haven't heard that name in a long time. Wow.
So just NAT 1-to-1, no issues, strong firewall, and layer 1 control. I mean, I'm not sure what he's getting at there.
So one thing I do have here, so talking about hardware a little bit, I had hired a buddy of mine to sell all of those 3090 rigs and a ton of different hardware I had sitting around. I literally went through my closet, and it was like, you see all this? I want you to sell all of it. And he did a great job. Facebook Marketplace. Oh, so all those rigs, those 8 3090 rigs. So he sold the 3090s, he sold the memory, and he sold the NVMEs out of them. All on eBay. They went like crazy. Awesome. Made several $1,000s on all of it. But now you're left with a chassis, power supply, motherboard, CPU, and that's it, right? You got no nothing else in there. So he actually listed them on Facebook Marketplace, and a guy came around and bought all 8 of them for like $1,200 for everything, and it sat for a few weeks, and then somebody like he was selling them, and then someone was like, "Well, do you have more?" And he's like, "Yeah." And so I was like, "Dude, just take them." I'm like, "It's going to be so difficult." So the guy was probably building and reselling, which was great, and that worked out well,
Right.
which was good. But anyways, I forgot one of the rigs I'd given him was my Timpy node. So my Timpy node was a 3090, or it's not a 3090, a 3900X. I forget what board it was. And it had 16 gigabytes of memory, and it had a EVGA 3060 in it.
Right.
And he's like, "Hey, I forgot I had this one. What do you want to do with it?" So I got it back. I'm going to install Vast on it with Max's script. And I'm going to just set that up and get that running, because I think for me, I want to do that, and I'm going to do a video on it for my community. I think that's closer to like my general audience. Like, not a ton of memory, maybe a 3060 and a 30 series, not a 30. Like, I think the general population isn't running 3090s, 4090s, 5090s, 6000 series. So,
Right.
anyways, I'm going to be doing that here shortly, and looking actually forward to it. Last time we went through it, it went really well walking through the script. So I'm going to do it this time without you and just let it fly and see what we can figure out. So that'll be coming up here very soon. Yeah. So
All right, cool.
I'm looking forward to it.
Nice. Yeah, I went a little crazy this week.
Whoa.
You guys can tell me whether I'm crazy or not. But so we all know that GPU prices are going up, right? And I've been seeing this trend. RTX Pro 4000s went from right around 2000, a little bit above 2000, all the way up to just over 3000. So they went up 50%. Then the RTX Pro 4500 went from 3300 up to 5000. And then I'm like, okay, the RTX Pro 5000s haven't moved yet. Oh, shit. Actually, some of them have already. So what Micro Center does is they will let all of their existing stock stay at the price, and then any new stock that comes in will be the new price. So the new price on these GPUs is anywhere from $8,500 to $9,000. So I got this one for $6,000. This is the RTX Pro 5000. I was kind of like, you know what? Yes, of course I'm going to put it in a rig. But what rig am I going to put it in? Like, I don't really have any hardware left. I have my son's computer right here that I'm probably going to buy off of him, because I'm actually going to be in the process of building a new rig. I'll go over that in a little while. But I'm like, you know what? I need to build a really, really nice rig for this. And in hindsight, Swamp 7 was right. I should have done an Epic system, but I didn't, because I got lulled into the Micro Center bundles because they're so stinking cheap. So, but by the time I bought that one, the one in the Chicago store was gone. So I'm like, oh crap, I don't want to have a 1 GPU system. I want a 2 GPU system, because I got a ProArt motherboard, which will do PCIe 5x8 lanes, and bifurcate them. And so so anyway, so I wanted 2. So then I looked on eBay. There was a reputable seller who had like 17,000 sales selling a retail version of this card. It was 6,700. So it was more, or actually 6,800. It was more, but not the $8,600 that I was seeing at most other places. There was one other place.
You didn't go for any of the eBay. You didn't go for the eBay reviews that have zero, like these scams. eBay is flooded with them. Have you noticed that?
Oh, yes, I have noticed that. Yeah.
How do they?
I wish there's a way you could filter those out.
Yes. Yeah. Like reviews.
Any eBay any eBay account that has less than a month or 2 months and has no reviews, I do not want to see them in my list. No, thank you. You can try to scam somebody else. But yeah, I did definitely see that. That's why when I saw this one, I was like, okay, It's the cheapest one. Of course, it says last one. They always do, but that's fine. That's a sales technique. But I was like, okay, that's as cheap as I'm going to find anywhere else. What was interesting, there was one that was cheaper that was a Lenovo version, and I was like, I don't know about that one. It may have been fine, but I'm not sure.
I don't know. You bought a PNY. I feel like the PNY and Lenovo might go in the same category. You know what I mean? Like,
well, the difference is if you look at the PNY, I believe PNY makes the Nvidia version. They look identical.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. So it's just a matter of one coming off the line says PNY and the other one coming off the line says Nvidia.
Interesting.
So I that's the way I see it anyway. But this one is actually an OEM version, which is why it has that plain wrapping. So when I get the other one, I'll draw a comparison. But obviously the GPUs, they ended up coming out to be about 13 with tax, a little over 13 with tax. But then you got everything else you got to buy. So today, well, I just thought of something else I got to cover in a second. But anyway, I bought the bundle. It was a 9950X bundle with the ProArt motherboard, and
Could be a nice rig.
Yeah, it will definitely be a nice rig. So I figure if I ever don't want to use it as a rig anymore, it'll be a nice replacement for for my current computer. But so did that. It came with 32 gig of RAM, so 16 by 2, which is worthless to me. Well, not worthless. Obviously, I'm going to resell it. Or it was funny. I was talking to my son because I picked up his bundle at the exact same time, so it's the same RAM. So if he wanted to go to 120 or go to 64, I'm like, well, I'll sell this to you for a good price if you want it.
Sure.
And he's like, I'm not you. I don't need more than 32 gig of RAM.
He's like, you have a problem. At a time.
Yeah, you have a problem, sir, is what he basically told me today. So anyway, so I'll be reselling that. But so I was looking at RAM. I did manage to find a 2 by 64 gig Crucial kit for 1,800, which isn't so bad.
Oh, God.
No, I mean, think about it. You know, a 2 by 32 is gonna be like, if you looked at them lately, they're like right at $900. So to be able to buy instead of having to buy 4 sticks, and actually I did find a way to buy 4 sticks of 32 at Newegg. They've got a good deal going right now on I believe it was Corsair, if I remember correctly. Anyway, but to get it for like $1,500, but then you'd have 4 sticks, you'd already be filled. So if you wanted to go any higher than 128, and you know, the 9000 series boards, the X890 can go to 256 gig. So I could put in 4 64 gig sticks if I wanted to. So anyway, so right now I'm starting out with 128. I'm gonna probably just see how that goes. I may eventually, this is kind of what I'm thinking, is I have 2 mini form boards that have 96 gig of RAM in them, and they have 5090s in there. Taking the 2 5090s out of those boards, putting the Pro 5000s in those, and then putting the 2 5090s in the ProArt. The only thing is there's not going to be a lot of space between the 2 GPUs. If I slot them,
because you're slotting right into the motherboard.
Yeah, if I slot directly in, I could get a ribbon cable and then just put it to the side, just get like a super short ribbon cable, but which should keep the signal intact. But I don't know. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. I'm trying to remember if I have any 5090s that are a little bit thinner than the other ones. So I'll have to take a look to see if there are, because if they were just like just 3 slot cards versus 3.75 basically, it would have enough space to get air. So but we'll see. I'll play around with it and go from there. But I'm really looking forward to building that. I haven't decided what I'm gonna build it in yet, or build it on. If I'm just gonna put it in an open air like I normally do, or if I'll actually I take that back. I'm building it open air, because if I didn't build it open air, I wouldn't be able to fit a 5090 in the last slot. there'd be no room on the board to have it hang over.
Jeff in
So.
chat says I run the same Pro Art with dual 5090s with one short riser, just like you had said there. So
Oh, okay.
yeah,
Perfect.
that sounds,
Thank you, Jeff.
that sounds around the same thing. Yeah, I was, as you were talking about that though, I was like, man, I haven't bought memory in a while, let alone like a GPU outright, other than the 5090 I was talking about. But I'm like, oh man, I was thinking about it as you were talking. I don't see like memory prices or GPU prices dropping anytime soon. Like there's
Nope.
absolutely no reason it would. We wouldn't have this massive influx in supply come out of nowhere. It's just like, crap, this sucks. Like this is the new norm.
This is the reason why I pulled the trigger on this, because I mean, let's put it this way. If you were going shopping for a stock that you wanted to invest in, and you knew within a couple of days, or maybe even tomorrow, it was going to go up 50%, would you buy it? Well, of course you would. That's where I was at. I was like, this would be dumb not for me to buy it. This is before I was really thinking about how much it was going to cost to build the rest of it. But I still think it's a good investment. I think the major risk I think I have is probably RAM pricing, because I think that is going to be the most volatile. But from a GPU perspective, I think I'm fine. This was actually the one I bought for my son. A 4 terabyte. This is like $500.
Nice.
He decided he wanted to splurge and get a 4 terabyte SSD or NVMe. And so I did actually go shopping. I was able to find one for $500. It's a Lexar.
So somebody has spent a pretty penny in the last week, it sounds like.
Yes, I have. And so
we're now accepting donations.
Yes. Should I set up a donation goal? Actually, remind me, we'll go back to that. We'll talk about donations. There's something I want to talk about, but not regarding funding me or anything, but donations anyway.
For the poor. Yeah. Okay.
No, not anyway. But yeah, I mean, it's like when I did the math, and I guess I need to do the math again. Conservatively, it should make $1 an hour. Conservatively. So that's actually slightly more than that.
On the 2 new GPUs you're talking about?
Yeah, the 2 new GPUs should make minimum of $1 an hour. I'm sure Swamp 7's going, what are you doing? Why are you pricing it so low? I'm being conservative for financial
I like
calculations. So you see where the worst case is.
Is this another one of those 0% deals you do? Actually,
most of this is cash. The only thing I did, only thing I did with 0% was the RAM and the NVMe. That was the only thing I did. So it was like out of all that amount, that's like $2,300 plus tax, whatever. So about $2,500 of that.
Gotcha.
But I'll tell another story about. Well, I'll get it. I'll get back to the financial part of it in a second. But it's funny because the idea was I went there on Thursday night. I only have so much credit on Micro Center. I had $7,000 on my credit line. And I've asked them repeatedly as things get more expensive to raise it. So I'm like, well, they're not going to want to raise it again because I keep asking for more. And usually they limit it to the number of times. So I was like, okay. But so anyway, so I was planning on going there Thursday night, buying it. It should show up the next day. I should be able to pay it and then go back the next night because it won't necessarily like show up right on the account right away as far as like, but it'll release the credit. It does. I mean, I've done this before, and it didn't. It stayed pending for some reason. It was like maybe it was because I picked it up so late. Maybe I don't know. Anyway, so I before I went back that day, I was like, all right, well, let me call Wells Fargo, who does the Micro Center account, called them and I said, what can I do? I want to make a payment on my account, but you won't let me because it's still zero balance. But it's not zero balance because you can see the pending charges.
It hasn't updated or anything.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And they're like, well, we can't have you make a payment on pending charges. I'm like, so my only option is to ask for a credit increase? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, okay, well, he's like, how much do you want? I'm like, 10. And so they went back and they're like, we'll only give you 9,200. I'm like, that's enough. I don't care. I was going to say 9, but I thought, well, 10's a nice round number. So whatever.
Yeah.
So anyway, so they gave me enough. And so, yeah, I was able to get it all on that account. But yeah, that was kind of a little screwy. I would have been, because again, when you buy things through Micro Center and you pay for them right away, you get 5% off. So with Micro Center, and I know Best Buy and Amazon have those same things, but with Micro Center, because their 0% financing is only for 6 months. So while Amazon is for 12 months,
1995 checkout process that looks like it's god awful. I thought it was a scam. I never used Micro Center before ever. Until I bought that Asus Workstation 3000 watt power supply.
Right.
And as soon as you go to check out, you're like, wait, is this a different website? Like it looks like something from just say 1995. That's
well, hang on a second.
Angel,
did you check out so you could go pick it up, or did they ship it to you?
Ship it to me.
Well, that's why. That's why.
Yeah,
so yeah, their whole website's built around pickup.
Yeah.
So they probably have a third-party add-on.
It's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. You should look at it sometime, because you're going to go, what is he talking about? And then you look at it. Honestly, I literally thought I was on a different website. I didn't even think like it was that bad. Hey, we can plug this in, like it was bad. It was
I think technically you were on a different website, but yeah.
Probably.
So anyway, all right, let me read Aragorn Striders. Eric says, I'm catching up at 2x. I have a handful of 24.04 rigs. The port errors are intermittent. Have you turned off IPv6? Someone told me to try that in a different Discord. Okay, so confirmation that somebody else has had the problem with 24.04. Interesting. Very interesting. Okay. I will. So when you're Aragorn, when you're saying turn off IPv6, you mean on the actual machine itself, not at the router, correct?
Probably on the machine side. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm guessing on the machine side. So I'll have to look at that. But yeah, I'll give that a shot. Have you tried that yet, Aragorn? And it is definitely intermittent. Like if you reboot your machine, it goes away. So all right, yeah. If you guys have anything, tag myself or Hobbyist in here so we can.
Did you see comment. Scott R says still trying to decide whether or not to sell my new 5090 from Christmas. Well, here I'll give you my quick thoughts there. If you're using it for just gaming, or like you've been trying Salad with it, or you've been dual booting in some capacity, now's a great time to sell your a GPU. Like look at your GPU. Time. It's a great time to sell your GPU. It is an asset. I would 100%. To give some context, not exactly the same, but a little bit different. I bought a Z15 Pro back in April for $6,300. I am selling it now for, I don't know, $13,000, $14,000 now. Yeah, it's like, hey, the price of it has gone up. It's making great money, but I might as well. I mean, look at this. Scott R says it's still in the plastic. He hasn't even pulled it out yet. Like that's absolutely wild.
It is wild, but I'll tell you what, it's been a great investment. You doubled your money.
Yeah, it could go up more. Like seriously, like Swamp 7 says,
7K. I had originally said, because remember, I had this conversation with Crute, like at the end of last year, beginning of this year. I forget exactly what the timing was, and we talked about like when would you consider. And I said, when I'm able to sell it used at 5K, I will consider it.
Sure.
And now I'm like,
you're not too far off.
We're not. I'm not ready to sell. But yeah, I'm kind of like, and I'm usually the one that like, I will set a sell so that I can't change my mind on stocks or crypto. That, okay, this was my buy-in point. Where am I okay to sell at?
Sure.
And I just set it automatically so I cannot change my mind when FOMO comes in. And let's be real, FOMO is definitely there on this. No question. But at the same time, all the other circumstances around this, including the lack of stock that's being predicted for consumer GPUs, as well as, even just workstation GPUs, they're predicted to be a shortage. So yeah, it's definitely interesting times. So yeah, it's like I said, that was one of the big reasons why I bought this, was as an investment. I was like, I had money sitting on the side, and I have other money that I could tap into as well if I wanted to. But yeah, I'm in a good position right now to do what I did, and feel pretty good about the decision, at least in the short term. Obviously, things can change. Things can definitely change. J Red says, "What seems to do better on Vast, a single card rig or a multi-card rig with just 2 cards, or what's the magic number?" My understanding is the magic number is 8, but I get impatient, very impatient. It's really great when you can have one person rent all 8 GPUs because they tend to stay for a long period of time. That's what's nice. I will say right now that 4 seems to be more of a magic number. I've had multiple 4 GPU rentals on 4090s. So I think that that's a sweet number. And it had never been. It had either been 1 or 8, but 4 seems to be getting rented more and more. So
Yeah, I mean,
Storm 7, you
I will say though, and this is my lack of experience, I will even put it out there. The more GPUs I feel like you add, the more open to issues and headaches. So there is a value there too of like, I feel like just one card works. Maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like just like it works. Like, what would you say based off of the hardware that you have?
So, I mean, I have to be, I don't want to put something out in the universe here. Currently, I feel like I am doing well, but it can change rapidly. I'll put it out like that into the universe, but it has been quite a while, and I'm just waiting for the next time it happens. On my 8 GPU 4090 rig, yeah, it will, one of the risers will like hit an error or something, and then I get an error on there and I have to reboot to clear the error. Otherwise I'll get de-verified. So but yeah, I mean, I feel genuinely fortunate with how trouble-free my stuff runs. Again, it's not perfect. It's definitely not perfect. In fact, hang on. I had to buy this. Because guess what? Another 5950X bites the dust. Yeah.
I had one do the same thing too.
Yep, yes, it's common.
It was in my daily driver actually at that time. And yep, I don't get it at all.
Let me ask you this. Did you have 4 or 2 or 2 sticks of RAM in your machine?
4.
So that's kind of the trend that on AMD processors, that if you run 4, especially if you run them Expo, that can be a strain on the CPU, on the memory controller. Yeah, Squirrel Masters just said it. 4 sticks burns up the mem controller on the CPU. So yes, that's what happens. And so I actually used Claude to help me out, collected all the data as to what the problem was. So now I have that. And so that right now what I ended up doing, so this is what I did to get it to keep working after it initially had a problem. Basically, the problem is that it reboots. And everybody says, oh, it's your power supply. No, it's not. The problem isn't the peak power. It's the fact that the motherboard sends too low of a voltage to the CPU that now is degraded. When it gets degraded, it needs a higher voltage. So then you switch to typical idle, and it runs for 3-4 weeks. And then you say disable C states, and it runs at a higher voltage. So right now I'm at that point where it's running at disabled C states.
With mine, it was all of a sudden I came down to find it off in the morning, went to power it on, and it would power on. I get no video, and then it would power off a few seconds later, the whole thing. That's what I ended up running into. And then finally, after like, pulling the CMOS battery, unplugging it, plugging it back in, got it to boot into BIOS for a little bit, and then it would do it again. And so finally I started to look in, and of course it was one of those like, oh, like troubleshooting it sucked, right? Like, let me swap out the power supply. Let me see if that's it. Let me swap this out. So finally ended up isolating it down to the CPU, swapped out, and bam, everything worked perfectly. So yeah, very similar.
Yeah, so it's definitely frustrating, but at least this time, because I've been through this. This wasn't my first
Mhm.
rodeo on this thing. I knew kind of exactly where to go, and it's just so funny because it tries to. Well, it's in this order. It's the power supply or the motherboard or not likely, but maybe the CPU, and then you
Yeah, no
start
clue.
going. Then you keep going into more detail. Okay, this CPU is running on Expo and it's running 4 sticks of RAM. And they're like, oh, well, you should have said that in the first place. Well, you didn't ask, but okay. And so then you kind of start going down. And then they like, okay, check this, check this, check this, check this. And it's on my Unraid server. So it was giving me commands to run there. And so anyway, I was able to figure it out, get it up and running again with C states disabled. Not exactly the best thing to do on a NAS, because you want NASs to run at low power. But anyway, it's limping along right now. This weekend I want to build my son's computer, so I won't be swapping that out. I got to change the end date on it to make sure it expires soon. Right now it's not rented. It has to build back up the reliability, because when you get in that boot loop, it was rebooting. I caught this one earlier than the last one. This one was rebooting every 8 hours. And so
Wow.
it
It's like
would go
clockwork,
down.
yeah.
It would go down to 60% reliability, but it would build up relatively quickly. It'd get back up into the 80s before it would drop back down to 60. So right now I'm at 98.1% on it. So I figure when I get it back up to 99, I'll be more likely to get rented. But like I said, right now it's not rented. But I do have it for a 98% reliability, which isn't great. I have it set at 35 cents, which is above average. I'm not super interesting. Psalm 7 says, will it mine XMR when Intel's die, they will not run miner or even load Windows. Interesting. Yeah, this one I haven't tried. I do have a spare motherboard I could put it in and see and play around with it. Maybe that'd be kind of fun. Maybe I'll do that.
Try to isolate it down a little bit.
Yeah, actually it's funny. So when my son, he's got a buddy in an IT department, and he was, telling his buddy that, his computer, he's got this issue, that issue. And so the guy's like, yeah, I'm decommissioning some servers. Would you like some RAM?
Nice.
So a couple of DDR,
it?
I was wondering, these are 16 gig sticks.
Okay.
So yeah, 16
gig. Is DDR4?
DDR4, yeah.
Okay.
So I mean, it ain't cheap. He's like, I think they work. So I have to test them out to see if they actually work. But I'm assuming that they probably do. If he says, I think, he just didn't want to give any warranty on them.
Sure.
Are they Micron RDIMMs? I have no idea. All right, fine. I will.
He's forcing you to take a closer look.
He's forcing me to go into my camera on my phone so that I can actually see what this says.
I can't see. Let me get my magnifying glass out.
Oh, damn well you would not be able to read this either.
I don't know. Maybe.
It doesn't have a name on them, actually. That's interesting. There's 8 chips on each side. They are two-sided.
Oh, it's like missing the sticker.
Oh, I guess. Well, there is. I think this is Samsung, actually.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, it's on the sticker. It's Samsung. Samsung 16 gig 2R by 8. PC4 2666V. So
okay.
Yeah. Anyway, I will stick that in a machine, and the one that I've got the extra motherboard for, and give it a shot.
Nice.
Stick that.
All right, Max.
Motherboard.
I think on that note, I'm gonna peace out and leave you with the savages. So thank you for joining me. I got work to do. Thanks, man.
All right, sounds good. Well, thank you for coming. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
All right, see ya. All right, let me go back to my regular scene. All right, there we go. All righty. Well, that was fun. Definitely fun. A little bit different topics, but let me go back to the math. So basically about $25 a day, conservatively, times 365. You're looking at about $9,000 a year. So it's about a 2-year payback for that rig. It's not bad. I also looked at it from a standpoint of how long with my current revenue, even before you add in this revenue, what it's been doing, it's about 12 weeks. It'll pay for it. So I figure, again, I'm not planning on buying anything soon. This is kind of shooting my shot for the rest of the year, I guess. But yeah, I'm looking forward to building this up and seeing how it does. And like I said, eventually probably doing some moving around. I've got to wait until my 25090s running in those mini forums boards expires. And right now, the one is due to expire on 9/15, and the other one is due to expire on 9/5. So we're only talking probably be about that long before I get verified anyway. So yeah, we'll see. But yeah, I will definitely do that swap. I forgot I did reset those. Oh wait, you know what? Hold on a second. That's what I reset the expiration dates to. The renter on one is 10/21 and the other one is 9/15. So that's good. That's good. So I might have to wait until October if this guy doesn't come off. And this guy has been on this rig for a long time, from before the whole Pearl days. So this has been on since before April, well, before May. Like in April, it would have been the latest it would have started. It's rarely used. It's 35C right now as far as the temperature on the GPU. So might be stuck until October, which I can deal with that. I'll just run the two RTX 5000s and I'll set an expiration date on that 10/21 date and then wait for them all to expire and then make the swap. That will be the plan. Alrighty, so that is the plan with that. All right, let me see. Speed, like I said, 2666 is what it says on there. Aragorn says, I have about 1.5 terabytes of DDR4 ECC sitting in trays in the office right now. We decommissioned the old server clusters. What do you plan on doing with that? I could definitely use some of that. Anyway, I only have like 256 gig on my 84090 rig, which is drastically under where it should be. But it still rents, so guess I'm not complaining. So okay, let me see what else. Aragorn, time to load up my X299 platforms then. Let's see. Dude, still have some X299s with 1098 10980XE sitting around. That's before my time. I don't even know what that is. Lukewarm must be on a phone, which is cool. Because obviously it didn't tag me even though he tried. Some dude ordered an X8 6000 Blackwell and dual 9554 with 16 terabytes NVMe and 1 terabyte of RAM. I asked him for what, and he said, I don't know. For an investment, maybe, if Octominer hasn't changed its prices yet. Just saying. I hadn't looked at those prices yet, but that might be a good thing. Think it's the top guys. I don't know what you mean by the top guys, but I have an H12 SSHI with a 2nd gen EPYC. I probably have to replace, but it could be bad 4090 that keeps taking the rig down. Asus TUF aren't perfect. Yeah, I'm telling you, I know I've heard people. I know Swamp Sevens told me he's lost GPUs. I am, knock on wood, very, very fortunate. I thank my lucky stars. Yes, we all have issues with our rigs from time to time, but I'll take the issues I've had and the number of issues I've had any day of the week. The last one actually was really cool. Not really cool. It wasn't cool that it happened, but it was cool that I actually had recently, within the last couple of months, bought a replacement Dell power supply, those 825 power supplies, and 825 watt power supplies. So I was able, once I figured out what was going on, slid one out, slid it in, everything worked. So it was definitely a bad power supply. Would you run 4 RTX Pros with 256 gig on an Epic, or split them 2 by 2 on 2 Epics with 256 gig RAM each? Well, if I had a choice, I would buy one motherboard that can handle all 4, as well as handle 512 gig of RAM. So are you limited on the amount of RAM you can put in the board? So, and hey, you can always try. I mean, Vast says you have to have at least the same amount of RAM as VRAM. But the general rule is 2 times the RAM to VRAM is the general rule. Lukewarm, 174K shipped. Wow is all I can say. Yeah, I guess 6,000 Blackwell. Let's even just say it was as low as 15,000 per. That is 120 just for the GPUs. And I suspect that I'm lowballing what those were. The RAM was 1 terabyte. 1 terabyte of RAM. That's probably over 20,000, I would imagine, for that RAM. I could be wrong. 16 gig DIMMs, so you have my DM if those are useful. Not for an H12 SSL, that's for sure. You wouldn't have enough. I think what I've got in there is 32 gig DIMMs, if I remember. So 30, I don't feel like doing math. 32 times 8, which is what they have. Yeah, 256. So I have 32 gig DIMMs. But I appreciate it. Yeah, if I had someplace to put them, I might think about it, but I really don't. And right now, my Octo server is kind of overkill with 512 on it, with only 6 GPUs. If I was to put like, and they're full, so I'd have to replace them. And I know that that has 12 slots. Or is it? No, it's 16 slots. So it's 32 gig DIMMs. It just has twice as many slots on it. I think. I guess I'd have to go back and look. Do I have any 6,000s yet? No, I just have 5,000s. If you guys don't know me by now, I like to fight the trends. I like to find the diamond in the rough. And the 6,000s, by the way, when I decided to finally make this purchase, it had already gone up in price. The 5,000 was the only thing that hadn't gone up in price yet. The other part of it is if you look at the pricing for, again, I'm buying for $6,000 per GPU. Well, one GPU for a 6,000, what does it make? I'll look at this again. I know Swamp 7 will tell me that these market stats are off, but I'm going by what is on the Vast site. So right now, the 6,000 workstation, the average price is 88 cents. 88 cents, and it maxes out at 600 watts. The 5,000 maxes out at 3,000 watts, and its average is, last time I checked, it was 55 cents. So it has half the power and makes greater than 50% of what the 6,000 makes. So that is my logic. You can disagree with my logic. I'm sure Swamp 7 would. He's already told me I'm not buying anything but the 6,000. But that's my logic. That is my logic. So the Pro 5,000, yeah, average price on it is 52. So 52 versus 88 average. Now, again, those are probably both lower than what we should be renting them for. It is interesting, though. Pro 5,000s have been discovered. Here, let me go back and change. Right now it's looking at the last 24 hours instead of it's looking at 1 day versus 30 days. If I look at 30 days and see how much the Pro 5000s have added, let's see. So right now it's about 111, 117, and 30 days ago it was 89, 98. So I guess we've only added 10 in the last, about 10 in the last, I think technically 9, exactly 9, if anybody gets that reference. But it does well. It does well. Right now it's about 70% utilized on the network. So Max Q are garbage. Don't waste your money. Pro 6000 for anything less than $1.25 is criminal. Hey, I'm just going by the numbers. I'm not the one setting those numbers. Just saying. I know you'd probably say the same thing about the Pro 5000. Doing those at 50 cents is criminal. I'm rented out at 55, so I'm rented out a little bit higher than that right now. But I'm just going by the numbers. I've now learned with going by their numbers that I now rent at above the average. So I have raised my prices. I definitely have raised my prices. So like if we look at a 4090, for instance, a 4090 average is 27. And I think right now I'm doing like 29, I think is what I'm at for a 4090, which I'm surprised that they're renting out that high, but they are. So yeah. Let me see. Yes, I am aware that the max Q is 300 watts. So you can do that, but then you're not getting the same performance. And I don't believe, well, here, let me add that one to this. I know I'm not showing you guys this, but I'm not going to bore you looking at these numbers. There's the max Q and there's also the server version as well. So they are two different ones. The server one does not have a fan while the max Q does, but I think they're both 300 watts. So I'm just going to do the server one because I can't find the max Q one in the drop down. So we'll do the server. And when you look at oh, sorry. That always messes me up. The server version. Well, that's very interesting. The RTX Pro 6000 server on here is $1.23. That's a change. It used to be less than the workstation. Now it's showing more. And there's 450 or so. About 450 of these. And so if I look at the RTX Pro 6000 workstation, yeah, that's really interesting. I mean, there's definitely more of those. Wow. Server is a full 600 watts. Okay. But that's really interesting that the server edition is actually going for pretty much what it should be going for, which is going by what Swamp 7 said. And I totally agree. But anyway, that was my logic. So yeah. All right. Jeff JN69, best to run cooler control or something similar up the fan speeds on the Pro 6000s. Well, yeah, they are going to run quite hot with all that VRAM on there, no question. Bill Clancy, I got a 170HX. It's a beast for LLM. I'm running Quen 3.8 with full context, 60 tokens mint for the cost and the VRAM. Yeah, that is, if you are running local, honestly, even at like $2,000, those are pretty much, I mean, where else are you going to get, 64 gigs of VRAM for that little? Pretty much nowhere. So if you get a good one, yeah, they are killer for local, no question. If it rents, it's only about 15% less performance for some workloads. Oh yeah, for Max Q or for the Max Q one. Let's see. Would you buy the Intel B70 to rent? No, I would not, because tell me where you can set it up to rent. I have not seen anywhere. Now, if you want to do it for local LLM, then yeah, that's maybe not such a bad idea. Alex Zinskin something like that. His YouTube channel, he did a rig with four, I think it was four Intel B70s. Eric started, I'm happy with where mine is rented, break even in a year, but I got it for a steal. Yeah. I mean, geez, hindsight's 2020. I had wish I had taken this money that I'm spending now and spent it last year. But I didn't think things were going to get this nuts. I don't think anybody did. I run the Q6 Quen 3.8 27B on my 20 gig 3080s. Nice. Do you have 230? You said 80s as an S at the end. So you have two in there. Oh, B70 is good for VDI as well. Interesting. All right. So the other thing I was going to talk about tonight, I already showed you my son's 4 terabyte. And I already told you, so he's got a Gigabyte X870 motherboard. We all know what RAM and CPUs and all that kind of stuff looks like. But I had met the folks from Be Quiet at CES, and we had been off and on in touch looking for a project that that I would do a video on, that type of thing. So I reached out to them recently and said, hey, I'm doing a build, for my son. This is what happened. If you want to send something, be appreciated. And they're like, yeah, we'll send you stuff. So this is what they sent. So hang on a second. Give me a second. I drop stuff. Okay. We're going to take this in order of smallest to largest. So I'll show you the case in a bit, and that'll explain a little bit. But they said the case fans in this case are really good, but we want to send you the best ones. So they sent 4 Silent Wings Pro 120 PWM fans for his case. So there's the 4. A Dark Power 14 850 watt power supply, which will be way overkill for his 3060, but he's hoping to upgrade at some point. I told him he should do it now rather than later, but hopefully soon he'll be able to do it. There's some things that are going on. He moved apartments, and so some things have to get straightened out first. And then also, this thing is really cool. Silent Loop 3. So for anybody that has tried to find a cooler for a Threadripper or an Epic, like an AIO or liquid cooled, they're not super easy to find. But this one will do TR5 and TR6. It will cool that. So I thought that was pretty cool. Typically, like, I think the 420 would probably be better for that. But I believe yeah, I know. In fact, I looked at it. The 360 will also do it. So that's pretty cool. He won't need that, but I mean, as far as being able to do that, but yeah, this will cool a 99. He got a 9950 X3D is what he got. Not the 3D2, but the standard 3D. Thought it was a happy medium. He wanted some good gaming performance, wanted to be able to stream. And so yeah, it'll be a good I don't want to say compromise. It's not a compromise at all when you get that good of a processor. But he's like, hey, I had a Intel for a long period of time. He usually keeps his computers for like 6, 7, 8 years. So this one will definitely be good for a long time. And then we have the case, which is the PureBase 501DX. So I'm not going to take it out. I will, like I said, I will be doing, I haven't decided whether I'm doing a live stream or if I'm just going to do a video on this, but that'll be coming up in the next couple weeks. Not tomorrow. Definitely not tomorrow. But I'm thinking maybe next weekend, maybe Labor Day weekend, maybe do a Labor Day stream, maybe. I don't know. Haven't decided yet. But and I got a few other goodies, but I'll talk about those later. But yeah, there were definitely some so keep an eye on the channel. The power supply will definitely be going in. Another power supply that I got will definitely be going in the new build. So that was actually really good timing for that. And you know me and keyboards. I love keyboards. I'm not sure how much I'm going to like these keyboards because they don't make sound. They're quiet. You know, hence the name. They have silent switches. So I'm kind of curious to see how that's going to feel, if I'll get used to it or if I'm going to miss my, you know, thocky sound, you know, real silky that I have on my Epo Maker. So, yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see. The one thing I will be looking forward to with their keyboards is, because I do have one 10 keyless as well as a full keyboard. One's tactile, one is silent, so I'll be able to compare the two switches. But yeah, I'm kind of curious how I will feel about it being as quiet as it is. I think my wife will like it. Pretty sure she'll like it. So it might, should we call it the marriage saver keyboard? Anyway, so we'll see. But I am starting to rack up a few keyboards. I might bring one to work. Because I have two places I work at work, and I don't even have a keyboard at the other workstation. And I actually have three places where I work, but I'm gonna put one at the main one that I work at out on the floor. But anyway, all right, let me see. MX Blue is a good balance of click feel, but not too loud. But I've had this keyboard for about 10 years. Yeah, I don't know. I think there's something about a really, really nice feel to a keyboard. The one thing on this Epo Maker that one thing I don't like about it is the fact that it doesn't have shine through keycaps. I do like shine through keycaps. That's one thing I'm gonna be looking forward to with trying out these keyboards. But the other one is the shape of these keys is like rounded. It's not the standard cherry, like squared edges. I like that better. I type better on those. This one has more spaces between the keys. And so yeah, I like this keyboard, but I don't feel like I type quite as well on it. You know, so I got to beat Pandas, you know, because he cheats when he does the typewriter thing, when he does the typing contest. So I need all the help I can get, you know, because, you know, when you go against people that cheat. What would you list a 5060 and a 4064 on Vast? Just curious how low you would go. Again, I would look at the stats. I don't have either of those cards. Let's see. 5060. What does it say? Oh, it doesn't say anything. You have to read it. I got it. Gosh, where is it? Well, there's the 4060. So the 40, oh, let me click the 5060 first because I don't want to have to come back up to the top just to click the 5060. Where is it? There's the 5070. There should be more 5070s than 5060s. 5060 Ti. Where is it? Must be lower, I guess. Yeah, there it is. All right. Now let me scroll down. So the 5060 is showing 7 cents average, which I would think that's probably pretty accurate. I think. Now again, there's something to be said. So right now it is utilized at 66%. So kind of thinking, well, if it's utilized at 66% and 50%, the median is at 70 cents. That means there are definitely people that are rented higher than that, including one at at least 12.8 cents. So I don't know. Not sure. And then the 4060 is at 4.3 cents. Yeah, I don't know. I just wouldn't rent out a 4060. I would sell it and get something else. That's what I would say. Yeah, I don't know. Arrogant Strider, the rounded lets you put the keys closer without accidentally hitting other keys. Yeah, I guess that's true. Yeah, I don't have trouble with hitting other keys because I'm not going across like this. I have my fingers on the keys, and yeah, so I'm typing by feel. Discord. Okay, he sent me something on Discord, I'm sure. Yes, he did. All right, so he's renting out a 5060 at 12 cents an hour. Good for you. He's like, I don't need to throw it up there. I can just say what it is. Anyway, but yes, he has a 1x5060 rig. Why do you have a 1x5060 rig? I'm so confused. You have highfalutin rigs. That's odd that why you'd even have a 5060. And let alone a 1x, unless you just had a random motherboard combo laying around that you needed to do something with. You're like, what am I going to throw on this? I've only got. Oh my god, dude, are you serious? This thing has 128 gig of RAM on it. 128 gig of RAM, and he has a 5060 on it. Are you crazy? Are you crazy? 128 gig of RAM with a 5900X, I'm guessing. Yeah, 5900X. Oh, by the way, this one that I got to replace it is kind of confusing with the naming. It's a 5900 XT. And I didn't pay $350 for it. But yeah, I paid $280 for it actually. When I actually went to go buy it online, like to have it saved, it was $290, and then it went down to $280. So I was happy about that. But anyway, 5900 XT, you think it's like going to be a 12 core, but no, 5900 XT is a 32 thread 16 core CPU. Very confusing naming convention, AMD. Very confusing. I always thought that one was a 12 core. But hey, I was glad to get it for less than a 5950X. That's for sure. All right, let me go back and get out of that. Anyway, if he shows up, I'll talk about that. Is it at least a TI was? No, it's not. It's a 5060, 8 gig. Low profile GPU. Okay, well, I'm guessing it's in, is it in like a, what's the word I'm looking for? A server? GTFO. Yeah. Hey, hey, you know what? He found a PCIe slot. Now I get it. He found a PCIe slot that was unused, and that's real estate. That's like air traffic control. There's an unused piece of runway. If I can land a plane on it or have a plane take off, I'm using it effectively. Same thing here. There's a PCIe slot that I can use effectively. I need to put something in it. In a 2U server. Exactly. I now I get it. You didn't even have to say that. I knew what it was. 128 gig of RAM? Like, that's nuts. And I'm like, oh, I get it. Low profile, 2U server. Yep. $325 on Amazon. Yeah, and the price, because who's looking for low profile GPUs? Not many people. I have definitely, and I should do this. You've definitely given me an idea. In fact, I've got one back here. I have 2 of these HPs that would take a low profile, I believe. Here, let me open it up. I'm trying to even remember what's in here. These were for Flux nodes originally, but I'm obviously not doing that anymore. And then one I had made into a backup NAS. I think this one I think was the backup NAS originally. I don't know. Anyway, but yeah, it's got a PCIe slot in it. It has two actually, unless that other one's just a PCIe. But yeah, God, now I got. Man, dude, I don't have any extra money to spend. Damn you, Swamp 7. All right, come on. Go back on. Why are you giving me trouble? What is happening here? All right, I did this before. It's not my first rodeo on how to... There we go. There we go. All right, slip that back here. Yeah, I'm gonna have to think about that. Gonna have to. I could actually get some. There's some low profile RTX Pro 4000s. RTX Pro 4000 SFF. Small form factor. I don't even know why I'm looking at all these. I should just go straight to Micro Center. Let me go to Micro Center. I bet they've gone up in price, but it's worth a shot. And then I have 30, well, it's either 15 or 30 days. I forget. They got different RTX Pro 4000 SFF. Nope, they went up. They're 3,000. 3,000. Yeah, it's a bit much for that, I think. They make about 20 cents. So it actually, when you compare it to the new price for a 5,000, it actually makes a little bit of sense. But yeah, no pun intended. Max, check the couch cushions. Nobody sits on our couch. We have chairs. But yes, I should check my chairs. 4-month ROI. Yeah, you know, it's funny you mentioned that. Yeah, I'm totally gonna have to think about that with that. I can probably buy those at Best Buy on 12 months. Buy 2 of them. Anyway, yeah, using the 5060s for heat. Yeah, and those HPs, yeah. I would just have to get a Wi-Fi adapter for each of them. But yeah, it's not a bad idea with those. That's really actually a good idea. Wow, that's a great idea. All right, let me write these down, otherwise I'm going to forget. SFF plus HP for heat. Love it. Like I said, I don't have any 2U servers, but like I said, I got 2 of those HPs that are literally doing nothing right now. Doing nada. Alrighty. Let me see what I might else I might have missed. Yeah, low profile sleeper server build. My open slots are only Gen 3. So what? So what? Yeah, and the Gen 3 is probably X16, but so what? Because these are going to be only X8. I have all of my 5060 Ti's on Gen 3, and they're X8. So, yeah. All right, what else was I going to talk about tonight? I've been talking for about an hour and a little over an hour and a half. I know there was something else. I know there was something else. I'm going to have to look up on my YouTube. Look at the look at the actual description so I can remember what I was planning on talking about tonight. All right, hold on. Bear with me here 1 second. Live. Currently live. I want to go there. All right, what else did I say? So we talked about my son's build. We haven't talked about that. We talked about that. Talked about that. Talked about that. So the only thing I haven't talked about is the market, the GPU market. I guess we pretty much talked about that. We definitely talked about that. And the only thing I haven't talked about actually on the list is Pearl mining. So Pearl mining has been a nice filler, when I'm having good days on Vast, I'm making about $10 worth of Pearl. And when it's not such a good day, I'm making anywhere from $25 to $30. So like I said, yesterday, $175 on Vast, and I made almost $28 in Pearl. When I say almost that, I mean, so I take a day's worth of earnings and transfer them and then exchange them for USDT. So yesterday's earnings were exchanged for 27.8 cents or $27.80. So that's what was yesterday. So not such a bad deal. Not such a bad deal. Mini interest rate panic last week. You know, honestly, I have not been paying any attention on interest rates at all. I will say it's kind of interesting. We don't typically have high turnover in our neighborhood. So to have two homes on the same street, like one's 4 doors down on one side, the other one's 2 doors down on the other side, where people moved out, and in one of the houses, because people moved out today in the one 2 doors down from us, the one that was 4 doors down from us, they moved out and somebody else moved in. I believe that was a purchase. The one 2 doors down, we're not sure if it's going to be a rental or a purchase. It still has a for sale sign out front, so we're not sure what is exactly happening there at this point. So we'll have to kind of wait and see. I'm kind of curious to see what might come up if they totally moved out today, and tomorrow we might see somebody else moving in, possibly. I don't know. Or they might be moving out now, so they have like about a week to, spruce it back up a little bit before the new renters move in. I don't know. They're not neighbors that we have talked to, so yeah, they haven't been here that long, so that's why it was kind of surprising that they're already leaving. T Dunn says, was it Micro Center rebrand opening in Columbus? Line was 3 hours long. Picked up a Zotac 5080 for $1,200. Nice, because those are pretty much going for like $1,500 now. Dang. Yes, it was a reopening, but like, what were some of the other like killer specials? Like, what brought people to come out and wait 3 hours in a line? I am very, very curious. Bare Naked Miner is in the chat. Appreciate you being here, sir. Oh, that's interesting. So that's really interesting. I'm looking at, maybe this is why. If I go to live chat. Oh yeah, there we go. I was on Top Chat. I thought for a second, like the chat that I have in Meld, I was wondering if that was giving me something extra. I'm 3 hours from any Micro Center, unfortunately. Yep. Sucks to be you. You have to understand, Bare Naked Miner doesn't like people. So I say that completely tongue in cheek. But yeah, he likes his space. So yeah, you have some sacrifices when you have space. Have some sacrifices. Maybe Micro Center had a flyer with opening specials. Yeah, that's what I was kind of wondering. So that's why I was curious if T Dunn had any insight into what Bare Naked Miner. I own it 100%. 100%. Yeah. So anyway, let me go back here. Nice. We still have 54 people here. That's pretty amazing. Peaked out at 60 today. Nice. Very nice. Appreciate all you guys. Jay's 2 cents was there. They flew him to Ohio. A lot of people were buying 3D printer filament. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they probably had, a loss leader to bring people into the store, get people using it and stuff. Aragon Strider says, I'll do the solar farm eventually when I retire on some property. Yeah. Better investment, gold or Bitcoin? This is not investment advice, but I would say right now, short or long term. Long term Bitcoin, short term, I have no idea. I think Bitcoin's going to, honestly, I think Bitcoin's going to trade sideways until the end of the year. That's what I think. I think we've seen the increase. I don't think we'll see below 60. I actually don't think we'll see below 65 again. So we'll see some swings. I think we'll hit over 80 eventually, sometime next month, I think, maybe towards the end of this month. And I think we'll see below 70 again. So it's actually, if you like to trade now, I think is a good time to trade, set a sale price for over 80, maybe 82, 83. And when you hit that sale, set a buyback in for like 69,000. Nice. Kind of my thoughts. Am I doing that? No, I'm just holding right now. Just holding, which usually is a bad thing for me. That means like, oh, maybe it'll go higher. Bad thought. Bad thought. Don't ever think that. What do you think about Tensor Cash? I know nothing about Tensor Cash. Let's see. One employee told me 22,000 people signed up for the free 128 gig flash drive. But if they already had an account, how would they have done that? I guess they can always say that they're using a different email address, I guess. But yeah, they're not cheap anymore. Those 128 gig flash drives, they're like $30. I was just in there looking at the pickup area and they had the flash drives right below. And I'm like, they were pretty sure they were, maybe it was 20. It was 20 or $30. But when they originally were doing this, they were like less than 20. So yeah, that's definitely a loss leader for them. No question. Let's see, what else do we got here? I want to make sure I didn't miss anything. Oh, 30 minutes is how far away you are from I'm about the same, about 30 minutes. Actually, the nice thing is if I'm driving home from work, it only takes me about 15 minutes out of my way to go there instead. And the big bonus is if I go to Micro Center, I avoid all tolls. So it actually becomes a cheaper ride home from a gas perspective and a toll perspective if I go to Micro Center. How's that for rationalizing your purchases at Micro Center? Yeah, complete rationalization. Complete. RAM so expensive, had to switch all PC to Arch. That's not a bad idea either. Switching to Linux. I have 64 gig in my machine. Oh, one thing I did find out yesterday. So remember last week when I said, hey, I got to reboot my machine? I had been having some problems where everything was like super laggy on my machine. And it was happening quite often. And I was having to do more and more reboots. And then I found out what the problem was. It was one of two things. It had to do with WSL. I don't know whether it was Salad or Docker, desktop Docker, or both. I'm pretty sure it was Docker desktop, because I know it drastically improved when I killed that. But it still seemed not quite right, but I hadn't rebooted yet. And so then I decided, you know what? I really don't want Salad on my main driver. So I took it off my main driver. And it's not like I was running it. But it was still there. So, oh, wow. Are we going to get into, Linux, distros, wars? Is that what we're about ready to get into? Yeah. Oh, wow. And do we have a grammar Nazi out there? Mr. Aragorn Strider? You and I. Please. Please. You can't. You and I'm assuming you mean you and I can't be friends. We think too much alike. 15-minute detour for me to Micro Center too. That's funny. That is very funny. Hey, I mean, if it is what it is. It's not a lie. And I'm like, so yeah, last night, oh my gosh. Last night it was close. It was really close. They closed at 9. I got there at 5 to 9. But when I got on the expressway, and oh, by the way, I had to stop and get gas. So when I got on the expressway, it said 8:54. By the time I got gas, it was 8:58 that it said. And I was able to make up some time. So it ended up being 8:54 when I got there. So no problem, but it was a little touch and go as to whether or not I was going to get there in time. And I really didn't want to have to leave my house today, at least not leave my house to go to Micro Center or to work. And thankfully, didn't have to do either today. Very thankful for that. Yes, you are correct. But where did the Windy City thing come up? But yes, that's a very common misunderstanding as to why the Windy City is called the Windy City. People think, oh, it's windy. That's why it's called the Windy City. Nope. It was named the Windy City because of the politicians. That's why. And so true, although it's pretty much spread to the entire country. So, you know, what are you going to do? There's a refurb high-end card at my local MC. I almost stopped on the way home to grab. You know, I haven't looked at their like open box in a while. Yes, I understand that Chicago is windy as well. I am familiar. I am very familiar. We just had actually, you know, I will definitely tell you this has been a year for weather in the Chicago area. Holy cow. Illinois, by the way, we are the tornado champions this year. We have way more tornadoes in our state, and a lot of them went through Northern Illinois. A lot of them. We had 2 touchdown in our town. I've lived here over 30 years, never had a tornado touchdown in our town. And we had 2 this year. That's crazy. And when I was down, and we've had people like couldn't come into work because of damage to their homes. One guy had 6 inches of water, no power, trees down in the backyard, tree on a car. Another person had their part of their roof like lifted. It wasn't off, but it was lifted. All their windows blown out. They got caught in the debris field. The people across the street from these people actually had their roofs torn off. And this is like in the suburbs, people. This is not like in the boondocks or anything. It's been a year for weather in the Chicago area. Yeah. So one of the things, Aragon Strider just said, reserve for pickup. Yes. The best thing about that, and I've done it where I've not picked something up, even though I tried calling them and they're like, just let it expire. I'm like, okay. But yeah, if you're questioning, like there's such a good deal that you're like, should I buy it? Don't do that. Just set it for pickup. Don't give it a second thought. Don't give somebody else the opportunity to set it for reservation before you. Ask me how I know. Multiple times I have missed out on great open box deals specifically, and a few other things, but mainly open box deals, because I couldn't decide whether I actually wanted to buy it or not. Dumb. Just put it on reservation. You are not committed to buying that. If it goes 3 days, it goes back into stock and somebody else can buy it. Swamp 7. The worst thing is when you see something sitting in the cage, just tell them that you're that person, pay cash. I don't think they do make you show ID at Micro Center, by the way. They do. I could see outside. I was standing in the doorway. 1 year, Max, I watched it pull my garage 3 inches away from my house. Wow. That's crazy. Yeah, there was one that got really close to work. well, actually I've had multiple now that I think about it. When I worked up in Des Plaines, which is right near the airport, there was one tornado that was about a mile west of the warehouse I was working at. I kicked myself. I could have easily have seen that one if I just walked outside. But I'm management and I got to tell everybody else what they're supposed to do, even though I don't want to do it. So that would have been my own first opportunity to ever see a tornado. And I'm just like, oh, it was on the ground. Wasn't super big. It was like an EF1. But it would have been cool to finally see one in person. And then the other one wouldn't be able to see because of where it was, but it was about a mile south of the warehouse between us and the airport. And yeah, I went right along the north side of the airport. I think that was an EF0 though. So that was like a pretty light one. And then, like I said, we had one very recently, that went about a mile. So I think the closest point was a mile southwest of us approximately. So yeah, it's pretty crazy. Swamp Seven for pickup, yes, but not for in-store stuff. Like when someone gets the open box before you. Well, I mean, if it'll show open box on the site, and then you can reserve it. So if you happen to catch, so basically the way open box goes, if somebody returns something that night, it will then go into open box on the site. If somebody that day is there and it goes into whatever, goes into a cage or whatever. Yeah, I don't know how that works, if you can actually buy it at that point, but yeah, that's definitely a possibility. Yeah, the sales associates write our names on boxes. Well, they didn't even write it. Well, I mean, for pickup, it's actually printed out. So I had to like explain it to the guy. So my son had put in an order for the bundle, and I did as well. And so I had to tell him, okay, this bundle, the one that is under my son's name, that's the one we want. The one that's not under my name, that is the bundle for the 9850X3D that's in my name. That bundle's going back. I'm not picking that up. I ordered it first, and then he was like, no, I want it in my name. I said, well, then just order it. And so he did. So anyway, because he wants it on his account, so that, if he's got to do any type of, wait, what was that? What model do I have? He can just go on his own account and do that. So makes sense. Even though I picked it up, paid for it, he's still got to pay me for it though. Let's see. Hide in the bathroom. Yes, that's where we were. I will tell you, this last one, like I said, it was a mile. It was a derecho as well, by the way. It was a over 90 mile an hour derecho. For those people that don't know, a derecho is basically a line. It's like a bow, and just straight line winds. So yeah, these were over 90 miles an hour. They tore through things. And I was in the warehouse, like right outside the bathrooms. And when I heard the roof rattling, I thought, I'm going into the bathroom. So we were all in the bathroom. And then about 5 minutes later, I peeked my head out, didn't hear any more rattling, and we were good. But yeah, we had a bunch of water. Thankfully, not on any product, which is good, but all around, like where the skylights are. So yeah. And then we had really strong rains the next day, no leaks. It was all because of the 90 mile an hour winds. I mean, the 90 mile an hour winds are going to blow water through anything, any seal at that high volume. So, yeah, that's why I check open box at 5 a.m. Smart man. A few years ago, had the neighborhood about 40 blocks away completely destroyed. We had no power for 5 days. Got to see one form start and kill the live cam at the airport. Oh, that's cool. I have a friend of mine who actually, I don't know if he still is. He just recently retired. He was a professor at the local junior college, but they had a meteorology department that actually did a number of tornado storm chasing trips each year. I never went on one. I'm kind of regretting it at this point, but yeah, my son went on at least one of them. I think he went on two, like 2 different years. But yeah, he has definitely seen his share of tornadoes. In fact, he was one of the only storm chasers that actually was chasing the Plainfield tornado. And that was actually what was so bad about these recent round of tornadoes, is that anything that comes from like the northwest to the southeast are so hard to predict what their paths are. In fact, one of the tornadoes actually did a loop. It hit the same house twice. Like it literally traveled over the same spot twice, and it hit this house twice. It wasn't a super big tornado, but yeah. That you want to talk about bad luck. That's some pretty bad luck. Rain isn't supposed to go up. Yeah. Yep. Well, also, rain isn't supposed to go that way and then that way. And when we had the recent tornado in our town, the one that got closest to me, we did have that. Basically, what it did was it picked up about a quarter of a mile away, and then thankfully went over the power lines, which was nice of it. So it went high enough where it didn't, and then it dissipated. But we had really strong winds from that funnel cloud, and it was rain wrapped, so you really couldn't see it anyway. But at that point, actually, I was not at home. I was at work. My wife was in the basement at that point. So, let's see. What did that homeowner do in a past life? Yeah, really. Where did this fly come from? Just this fly just suddenly just showed up. Like, dude, stop bouncing off the walls. Ugh, that's annoying. I've been in the house the whole day, have not seen this fly, and all of a sudden, I have a fly in my den. That's annoying. Alrighty. Anyway, I've been going for 2 hours, guys. Make a few more. Talk a little about a few more comments, but Enable, welcome. Just as I'm about to shut down. Aaron Strider, get your son on for guest commentary on weather. I'm sure he would probably like that. We could have a whole stream on weather, but that's not what this channel's about, and that would confuse the algorithm. But I could do that. I've been thinking about doing some members only streams and just talking about other stuff. Talking about my discovery of ADHD this year. I did not know I had ADHD until the beginning of the year. So talk a little bit about that, what I've done, what products have worked for me, things like that. I'm hoping to get one of them to be a sponsor of the channel. I have been trying to get affiliate links for some of these products because they truly have helped me. Anyway, talking about things that I wouldn't normally talk about on the channel because they're not related. And then see if there's any interest, and then maybe starting a new channel when I finally start doing videos on this channel first. But anyway, we'll see. But yeah, if I did something like that, I'd probably do a members only stream. And obviously we would need to have some interesting weather to talk about that would be currently happening. Hey, maybe I should invite Max Velocity on here. Anytime there's interesting weather, he's always on and doing his own stream. So I'm sure he wouldn't be coming on here. That's for sure. The fly is here. Time to end the stream. No, we should not talk about Minecraft before the end. We should not. We definitely should not. J-Rod actually has a question, it sounds like. So I have 2 dual epic rigs. I'm trying to figure out how to work the aesthetics of 2 to 4 GPUs on this. Any ideas or frames? I mean, certainly, I'm trying to remember. GPU Risers has a frame. I can't remember what it's called, but he's got a couple different options of 8 GPU frames, or 12 GPU frames, I should say. I would say, wow. 2 people came in. Geek of All Trades and CoreX Hosting came in at the end. Nice. Appreciate you guys being here. I'm about ready to close up shop, though. But again, appreciate you guys popping in. I mean, I would just say that's probably the best bet. I will be doing a video soon. It's been a year since I've done like a farm tour. And so I have definitely made quite a few changes in the farm. I've talked about them on the live streams, but I'll definitely be going over all of those changes. The most recent one was putting a humidifier in the furnace room because all of the ducts were sweating. In fact, let me look to see. I haven't looked at this in like a week. I put it in, looked at it for the first few days, and then haven't looked at it since. It looks like, yeah, it's running. 35% target humidity is what I have running down there. So, and it just goes straight into a drain. So that definitely is helping down there. Nobody likes sweaty ducks. I know. I figured somebody. Oh, ducks. Yeah, ducts. Is that better? Ducts. Is that better? Eating dinner, then heading out to a show. Of course you are. The question is, are you in the show or are you watching a show? Because you got to ask these questions. Quack. Sorry, I need to rewatch. Had a couple things going on this evening. Yeah, no problem. Hey, anybody who watches on repeat, I do not mind that at all. But yeah. Alrighty, guys. Well, that's what I was trying to figure out. Oh, yeah, you'll play tonight. Oh, cool. Cool. You got to tell me when you're going to be at a show. I can actually go out to things now. Hell, by the way, that was the last concert I was at last Sunday. The Total Tubular Festival. A bunch of 80s bands, Escape Club. And Escape Club has not missed a beat. They were amazing. Thomas Dolby, I mean, everybody knows She Blinded Me with Science. I had no idea like how funky his music was because I didn't really know anything other than that. That was a really fun part of the show. He was the one that closed it out. Really, really fun. And they had Animotion. It's on my back, but I'm not going to turn around. Oh, they had Tommy Two-Tone. 8675309. Hey, Bare Naked Miner, you know that in December, Russia's going to be in Vancouver. I think we know a guy who lives up there somewhere. Anyway, let's see who else was there. Who else? I'm trying to remember. Oh, it was, oh, shoot. I thought it was Tears for Fears. It wasn't Tears for Fears. It was a different band. And Flock of Seagulls was there. Who else? I don't know. Kind of hit the highlights. There was one other band. Oh, Broadway something. I don't know. Band I'd never heard of. But it was fun. It was definitely fun. It was relatively cheap. It was outdoors. We had the storms just barely miss us. We got drizzled on for like a few minutes. It wasn't a big deal. But we had lightning that I would say is probably closer than we all would have liked. But they didn't call it because it was moving away. So I was happy that they did not call it. Yeah, it was fun. It was a lot of fun. But yeah, it was not Depeche Mode. It was definitely not Depeche Mode. They were not there. I mean, you can look up Totally Tubular Festival. They played those bands played. We did not have Bow Wow at our Bow Wow Wow, I think is what it's called. They were not at our, they were part of the tour, but they were not in Aurora. Huey Lewis was not there. He was not Billy Idol. No. Nice try though. These are all like definitely could have beens, but those are all bigger, more. See, all of these were like either one hit wonders or Pantera was not there. No. But yeah, it did not meet. It met the expectations, but it certainly wasn't as. It was good in its own way. I had a great time. No, not Air Supply. Air Supply is more 70s. This was 80s. definitely not Air Supply. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was definitely a lot of fun. You know, we got up, was able to dance as best I could, because I'm not the best dancer, but hey, but yeah, it was fun to be able to get up, move around, and all that kind of stuff. Not struggle to get to and from. It was about I'd say about a half-mile walk from the cars. Well, yes, my wife openly said, "Who are all these old people? Why are there all these old people here?" It was very funny because she was obviously saying it jokingly, but there were definitely some people like, "Who the hell is this woman?" And they look back to like, "Who is she to say we're old?" type of thing. We're all old. Yeah, that was the joke. You missed the joke, people. Missed the joke. No, the cars were not there. Cars were not there. Neither was Journey. Neither was, I don't know, name. Like I said, these were, God, what the heck? I wish I could remember. But anyway, you can always look it up. Alrighty, guys, I am going to call it a night. I appreciate you guys being here. Hope you enjoyed yourselves, and I will be back here. Not Motley Crue. I love all these like off the Night Ranger. No, the worst song ever, Sister Christian. Good song, horrible lyrics. Coldplay's not the 80s. Aragorn Strider. Come on, you know that. You know that. They're just trying to keep me here now by throwing out all these off the wall. Coldplay's not a one-hit wonder. Are you kidding me? Metallica. No, there were no no, not Ronnie James Dio. That's not a horrible guess. But no, Metallica was not there. All right, now you're going to make me look it up. So, because I don't feel like taking my shirt off. You definitely do not want me taking my shirt off. Let's see. Total Tubular Festival 2026. Who did I miss? Festival lineup. The producers. That was the one that I couldn't think of. Yeah, I actually thought, oh, Men Without Hats. That was the one I forgot. And I totally missed like who Men Without Hats was. I thought it was who did I think Men Without Hats was? Men at Work. That's what I thought it was, and it was Men Without Hats. I was so confused. So confused. Real Rock was the swing in the 20s. Men at Work was not there. Men Without Hats was there. And the funny thing about it was the drummer was wearing a hat. And people were heckling the drummer because he was wearing a hat. Yeah. No, the Doors were not there. That's the 70s. That's the 70s. What is the name of the fish? Huh? Where did that come from? Hello from work, Mr. Rizzo. ZZ Top was not there. You guys are just like naming out. Oh, Red Panda made it. Man, everybody's showing up at the end of the stream. Yeah, I was, were your ears burning, Mr. Panda? I was only 2 minutes late today. Somebody else was 6 minutes late today. Just saying. And I was telling everybody how you cheat at typing, and that the actual typing thing was like, no, you cheat. I actually said that. I could bring up the screenshot you sent me. Better not be the end. Yeah, that's funny. Yeah. I was just telling Bare Naked Miner, because he brought up Rush. You know, Rush is going to be in Vancouver in the middle of December, right? Just saying. I'm type racing you right now. I don't have my new keyboard out yet. Otherwise I would. Just saying. I'm gonna read directly from what it said. says we have to ask everyone who gets over 100 words per minute in a race to take a short typing test. This is done to discourage cheaters, which is the same thing as saying he's a cheater. Hey, you sent it to me. You sent it to me thinking that it was going to be like this proof. Sure. I got to get a passport though. I will go. I'll find money to go. And actually, believe it or not, it's actually, well, I guess it's about the same price as it was in Chicago. The biggest thing though is, you know how you get the best deals? Although maybe not in Canada. Maybe it'll be more popular to go and there's only 2 shows. So maybe plan on going to the first show, but waiting until, like I said, I waited until 2.5 hours before the show. And I got, it was still expensive as hell. It was like $380 a ticket, but I got I got tickets that were originally $1,100 for $380. Oh, it was amazing. It was totally worth it. Totally worth it. But there are tickets that are like, I think going for like 170. All right. Bare Naked Miner's got a passport. Yeah. Rush is definitely a good time. And I've been watching some of the shows. In fact, I started to watch, there's the first Philadelphia show, because I've been watching them as people have been putting them out on YouTube. And it's really, really funny how Annika is changing her jokes at the very end of the show, at the very end of Tom Sawyer. Alex and Getty are like going back and forth on their guitars. And she's just, instead of just sitting there, she's like doing some joke. And then finally, when they kind of look over at her, she's like, oh, and then ends the song. And that's at the end of Tom's. Oh, actually, that's not at the end of Tom Sawyer. That's at the end of Working Man, which is every show. That's been the encore finisher. They do 2 songs for the encore. The first song changes depending on the show, and the second song is always Working Man. And the closer of the show is always Tom Sawyer. So yeah, ticket prices are crazy. Oh my God, they're crazy. Yeah, there's definitely tickets over $300, but there are tickets that I believe are still like 170. And it seems like this is kind of a smaller venue, not like the 300 section in United Center. So they actually seem like they may not be quite as bad of seats as they were at the United Center, but even so, just being there, it's pretty cool. Is it in Canadian though? Because I'm in the United States and I'm looking, so maybe for him it's 300 plus. Yeah, I'm looking at it in US dollars probably. And that's why I'm seeing tickets for a lot less. But yeah, ticket prices are definitely nuts. Hey, Panda, even if me and Bare Naked Miner don't make it up there, it's worth it. If you like Rush, and every Canadian has to say that they like Rush, whether or not they like that music or not. But if you really like Rush, oh, it's an amazing show. And this would be, this is the last shows in North America. They then go to South America, and then after that they go to Europe. So so high. Yeah, it is kind of interesting that even in this time when we're not supposed to be smoking indoors, I'll go for you, Max. I like the music. But even though it's indoors, you still get the smell of marijuana. There's definitely still some marijuana being smoked indoors. It's definitely not like it used to be, where you'd have this like haze over like the first third of like the ceiling. It was really bad. That's when you didn't want to be sitting up in the nosebleed section, because you'd definitely be getting high from all secondhand smoke. No question. It's one of the reasons why I really liked outdoor concerts, because you never had to deal with that. Plus, grass seats were cheap, really cheap. Sunflower Mama is here. Yeah, Sunflower Mama's not here. I don't know if she wants me to share what's going on, but we're fine as a couple. Nothing to do with that. But she's got some things she is having to do, which is not fun, but part of life. Anyway, glad you could join in. I'm surprised she's not in bed. Well, she's probably in bed right now. Yes, I am still talking. Actually, I wasn't talking about the Rush concert I went to. Well, I guess I kind of was, but I was actually talking about the Philadelphia show, and I've talked to her about this, possibly going to Vancouver, maybe. Yes, that's simplest way to put it. Her dad is sick, but getting better. So he was in the hospital and now is home. So, the DGX Sparks drop. Okay, well, hold on a second. They were like at 4,000. Yes, you can get below 4,000 if you buy two. But they only have 1 terabyte of SSD in them. But you could get, I think it was either the Acer or I think it was the Acer version of it, for 4,000 with a 1 terabyte before. So it's a good deal. I'm not going to say it's not, especially with the way other things are going up, and more information is coming out about those that, yes, they run slow. You're going to have anywhere between 5 and 10 times worse performance on a DGX as you would on, like, say, a 5090 or on a 5090, but you can run bigger models. And if time is not really of the essence and you just set something to run and you don't care if it takes 3 hours versus 30 minutes, yeah, they work great. You'll get the same result. It's just going to take longer. So, yeah, Swamp 7 just showed me that last night. Ordered a dual pack for $8K. But again, like I said, only 1 terabyte drives in each of them. Oh, the one thing I forgot to mention, Red Panda. What did I do with it? RTX Pro 5000. Oh, what I did forget to show you guys was, remember how I said the price was changing? Well, they had already changed it on this. I did not pay that. I paid 6,000 even for it. So that's a big reason why I bought them, was because the price immediately, I've got equity in the thing. They're still SM120 GPU, all kind of new stuff coming out for them. Yeah. They definitely are becoming a lot more interesting. It's definitely something, if I was going to play with that a lot, and I still am kind of debating, but right now I got other fish to fry, basically. So, yeah. My wife likes Sunflower Mama's nickname. Yeah. She loves growing sunflowers. Oh, by the way, so she's been down to see my son multiple times this year. He moved into a new apartment. Now he moved into another new apartment. That's a whole other thing I'm not going to get into, but, and it has nothing to do with my son as far as, anything he did. It's just circumstances had to happen. Anyway, right before she left to go down there, we had a major storm that literally blew over her sunflowers. So some of them did crack at the stem, and nothing's going to recover that, but a bunch of them were just bent. And so she staked them up, figuring they were all going to be dead when she got home. And when she got home, they were not all dead. A lot of them lived. So she was very happy. Very happy. So, yeah. Yeah, I was going to buy 3X RTX Pro 4500s. Then they went up $1,000 each. They went up more than $1,000 each here. They were at like between like around $3,200, $3,300, I think. And then they went up to $5,000, which is crazy. That's like greater than 50% increase. Most of the stuff has been going up about 50%, and that one went up even more. But yeah, I was actually thinking about doing the Pro 4500s as well instead of the 5,000s this time. But then when that happened, I'm like, oh, I guess not. 3,000 to 3,200 is what you're seeing. Oh, what are you saying? That's what it's at now? That's like what our Pro 4000s are now. Are like 3,000 to 3,200. Yeah, it is insanity. But for those of us that have hardware, not so bad. Not so bad. It'll slow down more people deploying, and that's good for those of us that have hardware. So, yeah, I mean, we're spending big boy money, but we both have. He probably is beating my revenue now, I would guess. But same general ballpark, I think. Obviously, he's making a heck of a lot more on YouTube than I am, but that's another story. But yeah, I mean, from the farm revenue, yeah, I mean, it helps pay for it. So, well, it does pay for it, really. So that's what enables us to do it. When will the FOMO slow down or stop? Well, I think it's already at that point. Now that we've seen this huge price increase, I really think that there aren't going to be many people deploying anything new. I mean, they'll be deploying things that they've already bought, obviously, but I don't think there's going to be. I know I'm not going to, at these prices, go out. I'm not going to be buying any RTX Pro 5000s for $9,000. No. Now we're looking at 3 years payback. I like being 2 years or less. I mean, not saying that you can't make a business work if it's 3 years payback, but as an at-home, I like things to pay themselves off quicker than that. You make more on AI than I do for sure still. I don't think so. Like I said, I'm $1,400 a week. And I've heard what you've been talking about. I mean, maybe on AI, but I'm also including your 170HXs that you have rented out too. And that you have, including that. And certainly on Vast, I'm sure I make more, but when you include your Simple Pod as well, I don't know, I'd be surprised. I would be surprised. But yeah. Alrighty, guys, I am very thirsty as I forgot to bring anything to drink to this. So I haven't had anything to drink for the last 2.5 hours, and I need something to drink. 1,400 a week. Yeah, that's more than me for sure. Really? I didn't think so, but okay. But yeah, I will definitely be doing another farm tour thingy here coming up in the next few weeks. I definitely want to do that. Like I said, there's been a lot of things that have been improved, been moved around, changed, new rigs, all that type of stuff. So I'm definitely looking forward to doing that. And I've got a couple other things I want to do. Plus the PC builds, probably do live streams on both of those. And yeah. Alrighty, guys. Well, thanks again. Appreciate you guys all being here. Appreciate all the info you guys provide to each other on here. It's what makes this place a good place to be, and I appreciate you all. And on that note, no tabs were harmed in the making of this live stream. Have a good night, everybody.